Anchoring, it's a device used just like repetition or pausing or changing my tone of voice. It's a device that's used to anchor, make a juror start believing that the case is worth what I say it's worth. If I sat up here and looked at the camera and just said over and over, I'm an expert personal injury lawyer, I'm an expert personal injury lawyer, and I said that for 5 years to the whole world, maybe I'll be president. But you would eventually start believing that because you've heard it for so long. From the moment we have the opportunity to speak in front of the jury, if I think it's a $10 million case, I'm gonna say, this is a $10 million case. First line of the lawsuit, this is a $10 million case. First line of everything I possibly can write, this is a $10 million case. Lawyer calls me up on the phone and says, hey, you want to talk about the Smith case? Oh, you mean the $10 million case? But I want that juror to go to sleep the night before they deliver a verdict and say, that case, it's worth $10 million, because they've heard it so often. Self-driving car hits someone, I can see why an owner would think that they didn't do anything wrong. But ultimately, if you're the one that's able to operate the vehicle and you are not paying attention and the car does something that you were able to prevent, you see the person in the crosswalk, the autopilot's still driving towards the person in the crosswalk and you've got 20 seconds to hit the brakes and you choose not to, that's probably your fault. But if you're driving down a highway, autopilot is appropriate in that situation, and suddenly your car moves to the lane to the right and hits the car to the right, and the driver could not have done anything about that, I don't think it's the driver's fault. And then you have a product liability case, which is very difficult, very costly, very time consuming, and might not be appropriate in a case depending on the injuries. You know who the best focus group is and the cheapest focus group that we do? Because I get these cases, right? And then I have to sit here and think, if a kid is hurt, for example, at a trampoline park, my first reaction may be, what did you expect at a trampoline park? Somebody else in my office reaction may be, oh, that's crazy, I thought trampoline parks were safe. The best person that I ask, and maybe they hate me, Uber drivers. I get an Uber, especially car cases. I'm like, so sir, oh wow, did you see what that car did? And they'll say, oh yeah, bad drivers out here. Let me tell you about a situation. Maybe you can help me with it. Imagine this guy was turning left and I give him the whole, give him the case and then say, what do you think? Because they're on the roads, and in terms of focus groups and trying to figure out what real humans, non-lawyers, think about cases, the key is just telling your story to everybody. I'll tell you something that bothers me. The lawyers with the fake checks. You seen those guys? They have the big fake check, like you won a sweepstakes. Your client was hit in a car crash, was hurt and couldn't go to work, and you make it look like they won the lottery. And then on top of that, the big fake check, the amount of it is the total settlement. It's not the amount that the client gets in the pocket. So like they'd have this big fake check, and it's usually stupid numbers. I saw this one this morning. Somebody's holding up a check with a thumbs up with their client, and it's $36,000. Well, if you know anything, if the client's happy about getting $36,000, then they weren't, thankfully, they weren't really injured. You're making it seem like our job is a game. It's real life, it's people's lives. That client's not walking away with a $36,000 check. In her back pocket, she has a check for $20,000. Don't try to sell this fake BS $36,000 big fake check. Like, stop that shit. It used to be when you did jury selection, a lot of lawyers will say, do you have any bumper stickers on your car? And then if you have a bumper sticker, maybe that means something. Using that line of thought, maybe they'd find out this person drives an SUV, they watch Fox News, and they have a 30A bumper sticker on their car. Boop, 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 boop.
Buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper.
You connect and you go, oh, this person must be conservative and doesn't want to award a lot of money. I don't do that. During jury selection, I say, what do you think about awarding a lot of money? Like, I want to know, I'm going to ask you the question flat out. I want to say, hey, my client was in a car accident. They have a lot of medical bills. How do you want me to prove to you that our client should be paid $1 million on top of that? Tell me the secret recipe and then I'll do it for you at the trial. Like, I will literally do it. And that's what we do. We just ask them the question. Bunker's my best engagement tool. Get over here, buddy. I can do this with a dog. That's how I do most webinars because he starts acting up. Look at the camera. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody. There's a lot of lawyers still. Everything they file with the court, it starts with this. Comes now plaintiff, hereby through their undersigned counsel of record and presents the following. Makes me think I'm at like a horse track where the guy comes out with the trumpet. We start by saying, here's why we should win, because that's the most persuasive thing that you should start with. We're trying to write to people, not to 16th century British colonizers. I don't know. Comes now, like, what are we doing? The best thing that has come out of COVID for my clients is that everybody has a shared experience of being stuck or locked at home, worried about your job, worried about money, worried about how you're gonna get by, and it being no fault of your own, right? When I have clients who are in that situation, hurt because of no fault of their own, can't go to work, worried about a job, worried about paying bills. Now all those jurors that are gonna make a decision have something in common with my client. That may be the first time in at least recent history where everyone has a common experience. We've been able to have our clients relate with a lot of jurors that maybe we wouldn't have been able to do so otherwise. In a deposition, your job's to tell the truth, say what you know and say what you don't. If you asked me right now, where's my dog? I could tell you, I could look right there and say, he's there. And I would answer that in the deposition, he's there. But if I put him downstairs in our office and somebody asked me, where's your dog? I would say, normally, well, he's downstairs in the office. Under oath, I would say, I don't know, I think he's downstairs, that's where I left him. But maybe one of my friends took him outside to go to the bathroom. Maybe he escaped and he's running wild in the building. I don't know. So that's why it's different. So your job in your deposition is to tell the truth, say what you know and say what you don't know, and then get out of there. Not offer information, not be helpful. Can't win your case at a deposition, you can lose it. This is Do I Have a Case by Mike Rafey.
I was walking down the sidewalk and I got bit by a dog.
You may have a case if the dog was off a leash, or the dog had bitten someone else before you, or the dog was otherwise dangerous. So you may have a case.
I slipped on milk at Walmart.
You may have a case if you slipped on milk in Walmart. What you have to show is that the milk was on the floor. It was on the floor long enough for Walmart or whoever to figure that out and clean it up, and that you couldn't have avoided it.
My surgeon left something inside me.
You have a case. That's the easiest one. You have a case. If your surgeon violates the standard of care, then you have a case. And leaving an instrument or something that shouldn't be inside of you, you have a case. We had a data scientist as a juror. We also had a rocket scientist, 2 guys from tech, and we had a nurse, and everyone on the jury had a college degree. It's pretty surprising. So we have 12 really smart jurors. We asked for $1.5 to $2 million in that case, and they awarded us $1.73 million. So I felt good about my number, but then when you ask them, they all have different reasons. Some just go by feeling. There's a math approach that you can do a per diem, a per day, or a per hour, or a per year. Each year of your life is worth at least $1 million. You have $1 million houses, you have $1 million yachts, you have $1 million art. And if human life isn't worth $1 million a year to live, we got something wrong with society. My belief is that the floor of a wrongful death case is $1 million per year of the life lost. I represented Georgia Power, which is the largest utility company here in the state and has the most vehicles. They got in a lot of car crashes, just the numbers, that's what they were. So we had a case where it was a rear end crash where the 2 injured people had some very serious injuries and both had surgeries on their spine. And we go into this roundtable with Georgia Power and they don't want to pay. What they did was on this roundtable, they had other lawyers come in who also helped them on cases, and we were all supposed to share. We got to remember those other lawyers want more business. So we go in there and say, hey, we think this case is worth whatever it's worth. And all the lawyers sit around and go, no, we think you're going to win. We think that the jury's gonna award $0. You guys are gonna win. You've done a great job. I looked at the partner I worked with. We look at each other and go, we are so screwed. I actually left the law firm I was working at and went to the plaintiff's side before that trial. It's a game and it's pretty dirty. The checks that we get are the whole dollar check, right? It's the total settlement. I had a case, it was one of the first really large cases I had, and it settled for $6 million. And it came in 3 checks, $1 million, $2 million, and $3 million. I had an office manager at the time and she says, I'm gonna take this to the bank. And I go, no, you're not. I got this one. She's like, you never go to the bank. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to the bank. So I walk into the bank and I wait in line very patiently, and then I get up to the teller. I go, pass it over there, and I just sat there. Oh, and I mean, that was the little fun I had. I'm gonna use a bad word here, so sorry. I don't f around with money. Like, the #1 way to lose my confidence is to f with my money. If I owe you $10, I'm going to give you $10, and I'm gonna give it to you as quickly as I can. So as a lawyer, if I owe you and agree to a 33% share of the attorney's fees, if that case goes really well, I still owe you 33%. If that case goes poorly, I still owe you 33%. I'll be honest with you. If I don't think your case is worth $1 billion, I'm gonna tell you that. If I think your case is worth more than what you think it is, I'll tell you that too. I'll tell you whatever you want to know, and I will be 100% honest. I'm not a good liar, I'm just gonna tell you what's going on.